Hello everybody, today I'm going to be showing you how to make a simple clicker system with two HUDs at the bottom and a player world UI. Let's go! Okay, so first let's start with the circuits here, okay? So step one, you're going to get an interaction volume. So if you go to your watch, it should be a pink thing right here. So get that out, spawn it, make it as big as you want, and you're going to get this big circuit thingy up here called interaction volume. Once you have that, we're going to configure it. And we're going to name it, where it says new name, we're going to click on the bar. We're going to put in clicker. Then we're going to X out. And we're going to hit submit. So it shows up right there. After that, we're going to change the attachment mode to detached. Scroll down. Set the interaction prompt. And just hit the trash button. Set locked, trash. Hover end, trash. Hover start, trash. So now it looks like this, way more organized. We can drag it more towards the int variable that we have. Second, let's get to the int variable. So spawn in one int variable, and I'll show you what it looks like. It looks exactly like this. When you spawn it in, it should be like that. From there, you're going to configure it. Change the name to whatever you want. I'm going to name it clicks. Hit submit, just like the clicker thing. Make it cloud. So let me explain what cloud and sync means. If it's synced, it's going to be the same for every single person in the room. If it's cloud, it's going to be different, and it'll also save when people leave and rejoin. So it'll always be in the cloud. So yeah, it'll always be in the cloud. You can change the chip color, turn on root contributor lock, do whatever you want with that. But we need that right now. After that, we're going to configure the last thing, which is just sound effects. Do not configure the actual circuit for it. Come down here and you see there's this auto player also. It'll also look exactly like this. You could just spawn it in. When you spawn in, this thing is gonna be here. If you're on VR, you can drag it, or if you're on screen, you can select the move tool and move it up there. But once we have that, we're gonna configure this, and it's gonna be use 3D audio. If you want to use 3D audio, go ahead. I suggest you won't. We're gonna make it whatever you want. For this experiment, I'm gonna use. Okay, forget about that. We're gonna use Sparkle. You can use Click if you can find it. But if you come up here and you have Connect, you can use a Connect tool. Hover over this orange thing. Hold down. This blue thing will come up. And it'll play the audio sound effects so you can see. And it will be the same exact thing for each one that has an execution for it. Anyway, let's get to the connecting. Alright, now for the connecting part. We're going to connect this on use right here for the interaction volume, aka clicker. We're gonna connect it to this orange thing, the left orange, which is a execute for the interaction volume. From there, we're gonna do the one that doesn't have a number, the one that's just blank but it's green. We're gonna connect that to the top value of the add, and we're gonna connect the sum to the one that actually has a value. So what this is doing is when it went on use, what it's gonna do is it's gonna add. You can add however many you want to do. I'm gonna add 1, and it's gonna add 1, and the sum of that is gonna go to this, which is the total. This is the total amount you have, basically. So from there, you're gonna connect the execute, the output, or the execute of it to the player show subtitle, and the execute of the player show subtitle right here to this play, the left side play of the sound effects. From there, you're going to connect the player to player that used. So when on use, it's going to show the player show subtitle, and the player that used is going to get the subtitle. Okay, now that we have that, we're going to connect the right side of this clicks interaction volume to the value of the toString, and the result of that to the value of the string format, and then the result of the string format to the subtitle. Now you can play around with the priority, duration, but I'm going to make the duration 2.5 seconds. And the priority, I'm going to make it 1. So say you have something else going on, basically, like when a player joins, it shows to everybody, or you have another notification. This will be the main priority. So as long as you have this higher than the priority on the other player show subtitle, this will show instead of that one, basically. But once you have that, we're going to go up here to where it says string format. We're going to click on it with the connect tool or the configure tool, whichever one you prefer. And we're going to type in, we're going to do the fancy bracket 0, fancy bracket, just like I'm doing on my screen. And then we're going to type in clicks or whatever you want to type in. I'm typing in clicks. And whatever you want. So what this is doing is it's getting the value of how many clicks you have, and it's putting into the value of the format. So when for formats, the 0 is always going to be the first format instead of 1 being the first format. It's confusing, but I guess it's, makes sense. So right here, if I hover over the subtitle, it's going to say 0 clicks because I have 0 clicks. But when I press this, oh, also for the sound effects, configure that again. I forgot about it. Turn off synced and turn on interrupt current sound, so you can go like this. Right? So now we have the clicks. We can't see how many clicks we have unless we touch this. So we're gonna get to that part now. So the first circuit we're gonna need is a event receiver. So get an event receiver. It should be, if you search up event, it should be the second one. It says event receiver. Should look like this. You can put this wherever you want. I'm gonna put this right here. Then we're gonna get a HUD. Just search up HUD. And we're going to search up game HUD element constant. Put that right above the event receiver. And then we're gonna search up where it says game HUD element set all values. We're not gonna use that, but we're gonna do a set game HUD element value. So it'll basically say the value of, we're going to do the value of the clicks, put that right under the event receiver, and we're going to get a set HUD element enabled. So once we have that, we can do this. We have all of this mumbo jumbo. We're going to get the configure tool out. We're going to configure it, name it whatever you want. You don't even have to name it. Personally, I like naming it. Keeps me more organized, but it's totally up to you. I'm gonna name mine clicks because clicks, and it also it tells me what it is. You can personally do whatever you want except for primary or secondary. I suggest you don't do that because it's gonna be right here. I don't want to actually say the value of it. It'll just say the it'll be like a little bar, and it'll have progress, kind of. So I'm going to do lower right. I personally like lower right because I like looking over there. And you can do whatever you call it, whatever color you want. I'm going to do the basic red because red is pretty cool. Once you have this, we're going to do show label. We're going to turn that on. And we're going to do show value text. If you want to, mess around with this, you can do this set game HUD element, and it'll be right down here. Currently, it's going to say 50 because there's no actual, value for it. And it also is going to say HUD element. We're going to go to this thing where it says element label. And we're going to type in clicks or whatever you're using. You can use, I have a game called Bucket Simulator. If you want to check that out, go ahead. But, see, it's this one right here. I personally make mine, buckets, but you can make yours whatever you want. Personally, I don't really care. So now that you have that, we're going to configure the event receiver. And scroll all the way down, turn on update 30 Hertz. From there, we're going to connect the update 30 Hertz, this orange thing, to the orange thing for the set HUD element. It's okay if you hear a error, because there's no target and it's also not enabled. So we're gonna get our connect tool, and we're just gonna tap it with our trigger, and we're gonna connect the right side to the set game HUD element value. So from there, where it says clicks, we're going to get that yellow thingy. We're going to drag it to all the targets. So both targets are right here. See, now it's going to set the value as 0. So say I make this 1, it'll set the value of 1. And this is always checking, by the way. Like, it'll never not check, I guess. So after we have that, we're going to get, you can either copy this, or you can just, like, drag the, thing along it, I guess, but I'm gonna, make this more organized. So once you have that, we're gonna get the right one that's not connected to anything and doesn't have a number that says 0. We're gonna connect that to the value, and that'll say the clicks. So say I want to click this, goes up bottom right corner, right there. But if you're satisfied with this, go ahead. You can click off this video. I totally understand. But now we're gonna do the Player World UI version of this, which I think is way cooler. So first we're gonna get a Player World UI. It's just called Player World UI, nothing else. You can go to Player World UI. We're gonna spawn that in. You can personally drag it wherever you want. I'm gonna drag it down here, right under the thing. And we're going to get a display Player World UI. Put that right under it. Once we have that display Player World UI, we're going to do a set Player World UI text enabled. And then we're going to get a set Player World UI text value. And we're going to get one more event receiver, and we're going to clone this. It'll be the same thing. It'll be the same update 30 Hz, but we're going to have a twist to it, and we're going to add a delay. So once you have all that, we're going to get a delay. So we have a delay chip right here. We're going to put that right under it. If you want, you can put it to the side. I'm going to put it under. Once we have all this, we're going to go to the Player World UI. We're going to configure it. Change to whatever you want. Obviously, the name doesn't matter. You can change it to whatever name you want. Unless you don't want a name. Totally understandable. Once you have that, we're going to turn off the primary bar. Where it says enabled, we're going to turn off the animated. We're going to turn off enabled. We're going to turn off animated. We're basically turning off both secondary bars and primary bars. So then we have the text. We're going to hit the enable button. And where it says text, just take all of it out, basically. So where it says color, I personally like white because it makes it more clean. But you can choose whatever you want. And we're going to turn off, we're going to keep synced on so everyone can see it. And we're going to turn on enabled when joining. Reason is because when it's sync World UI can be enabled automatically for players when they join the room. Only one Player World UI chip can have this setting enabled at a time. So basically this will, save when it's synced. But we're also going to make it so it's double saves, kind of. So once we have that, we're going to connect all of this to all the targets. There's only one target, actually, but we're going to connect it to that target. From there, we're going to connect the event receiver, this orange thing, to the run under delay. And we're going to change the delay to 1 second. I've done experiment. I've been doing tests with this, seeing which time is the best. 1 second is the best because when you run this and you just do update the 30 Hz and you don't include the delay, it's gonna above your head. If you look at someone else's thing or on screen, it'll look fine. Like if you look at yours, it'll look fine. But when you look at someone else's, it's gonna keep blinking on and off, and it'll be unreadable. So you want it to be 1 second. So every 1 second, it's going to display the Player World UI, and it's going to update your clicks. So you don't really need to see other people's clicks, but it's pretty cool to know, I guess. So that's why there's a bigger delay. After that, we're going to get the after delay, and we're going to connect it to the display Player World UI. Connect the right side to the left side of this set Player World UI text enabled. If it's false right now, turn that on. And connect the right side back to the set Player World UI text value. So the value is right there. We don't know what to do, right? We can either get a 2-string, and it'll just say how many you have, or you can get a 2-string, like before. And I'm gonna copy the string format so we can get this. Put that right under it. We're going to connect the result to the value. We're going to X out all we have right here. So now the value here is going to be the clicks. So bring that down. You can just go like that unless you want to clone it like always. I suggest you not doing that because of the ink and the CPU. But from there, we're going to get the format. We're going to hit the format. We're going to configure it. And we're going to name it whatever you want. So basically, I'm going to name it clicks. And then colon. And then they're going to do the fancy bracket. 0 fancy bracket. And that's going to display the clicks. So once we have that, we're going to get the result. And we're going to connect it to the value. So now it's going to show your basically value. But for some reason, this isn't working, right? We want it to cancel. But my game currently isn't really working. So if I were to do cancel, it's going to crash my game. Let's see. Oh, okay. Never mind. It doesn't crash my game. Although it does lag my game pretty bad. I don't know why, but for some reason, the delay is just having a weird process. And it's really weird. But now, this should fully work with the Player One UI. And that, if you want to see another video of me doing another clicker system, but this time I add upgrades and I do rebursts. If I can get 10 likes on this, then I'll make another video on this. And yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good day. Give it your record best, I guess. Bye.